We continue our season 17 journey to the second episode in the season. Episode 105 overall. City of Death, which is pretty scary.
That was extremely scary. Oh my god.
City of Death, which you may be wondering, wait, why is it called City of Death? I don't really get it. It's a pun in French. It's a pun because Paris is often referred to as Cité de l'Amour, City of Love, while City of Death is Cité de la... I'm bad at French.
It's okay.
Cité de la Mort. Basically, subtle difference between City of Love and City of Death.
Yeah.
It's a pun.
Yeah.
A French pun.
Yeah.
Don't come at me, French.
A French...
You fucking can't.
A French pan.
French pin. Anyway, what happens in part one, dear?
No, pan, as in it's bread. Anyway, there's a huge amount of rocks in this rock-like desert, and then there's this thing from The Incredibles standing out in the middle of nowhere for some reason. Don't know why. Disney should really sue them. But also there's some computers talking about their powers, and how it might be suicide at Power 3 to take off, but this dude, who looks like he's covered in seaweed, is ignoring everything, and he's like, no, I'm gonna take off. And his incredible ship takes off at full power slowly and implodes. But apparently, he's their only hope to save their entire species. Too bad he's fucking dying. And the Doctor and Romana are now in Paris and just chatting about things. And it's 1979 and they're at the Eiffel Tower. And then they're on a train and then they go places and they walk and they go places and woohoo! Cut to 2 men in a basement.
France!
Woo! Sorry, wee-wee! Cut to 2 men in a basement asking for money from a guy in a suit, and the science must get done, but we need the money, so he's like, okay, here's some fucking $1 million francs. But you're gonna probably need more soon, we'll get to that. The third dude with the beard shows up, and he's told to sell one of the Bibles, and he's like, okay, but it's gonna draw attention. He's like, okay, well, don't draw attention, do it as best you can. And then we're gonna go test...
Not just any Bible.
I don't know, don't care. Well, but go ahead.
Gutenberg Bible.
Okay. So he's like, we're going to test this machine in about 2 minutes. The Doctor looking through a book, and Romana is being drawn for a moment. But when she looks at the artist, he's like, how fucking dare you? Crumples up the paper, drops it, and leaves. Then we have a glitch in the Matrix. Everything repeats for 3 times. The drawing apparently was her with a clock face that's fractured because it's a crack in time. And back at the experiment, it's going off, and apparently Sue really wants faster progress. Doctor is upset that Romana thinks computers can draw pictures, and then they go other places. They go to the Louvre, and also there's a man in a trench coat being sussy as fuck. A tour group is also going through the area, but the Doctor's like, oops, some more time skippies happen. Then the Doctor faints on a couch on top of a lady. Trenchcoat dude is like, that's weird, follows them. But then there's also more people who are sus who are like nodding to each other. The Russian, who is the professor, is like, oh god, please let me sleep. I can't do more science. And the suit's like, no. Doctor and Romana walk around more. While being followed, they sit at a cafe, mention that someone's following them. Romana found a bracelet in her jacket. It's a micro-scanner thing. And they were apparently trying to steal the Mona Lisa, so I guess there's that, but also apparently there's aliens. Trenchcoat now has a gun in the Doctor's back, and he's like, let's go to the cafe. So they do. Lady is talking to Suit about their plan, and Detective was watching her and stopped her from stealing the painting. Also, she mentions that the Doctor stole the bracelet, and that makes Suit fucking pissed. They're working on it. It's discreet. Now, multiple people have a gun pointed at the Doctor, so he's just like, here's the bracelet, and they leave. But Trenchcoat also had a gun pointed at him, so I guess he's not part of it with them. And he's like, I know this is stage, just tell me, like, what you're doing. And he's trying to talk to them, and they're like, we've never heard of that person. And he's like, I think you're crazy. And they're like, we think you're crazy. And the other gunmen have brought the bracelet back now, and Suit is like, oh, okay, cool. I want to meet the person who took it, so go get him. So, cut back to them. Apparently, there's a bunch of stolen art that is starting to show up that has been mysteriously disappearing from all over time, like thousands of centuries ago. They think it's the Suit dude, but they can't prove it. The gunmen come back, and now everyone is asked to come along. Beard comes up and talks to Lady about who's here, and when then they walk away, Lady tries to go see Carlos, and his door is locked, aka Suit not opening. Too Bad suit is staring at a mirror, then takes off his face, and it's Wormweed Man. Seaweed Wormweed Man. Suit Weed Man. That's it.
Suit. Good suit.
And Gam.
Good suit. Get it? Good suit. Like suit.
And Gam.
You know, it's like soup.
Yeah. Soup?
It's like soup.
Yes, okay. Oh my fucking god.
So, filming in Paris. They actually did film in Paris for this one. And filming in Paris proved a bit difficult for them because the dates coincided with the May Day holiday period, which meant that many of the locations they had chosen for filming were actually closed, necessitating considerable improvisation on part of the cast and crew. The production team arrived to find the Denise Renee gallery shut tight. The director elected to proceed regardless. Rather than have Tom Baker enter the gallery as planned, Hayes would simply show the Doctor walking up to the front doors and then cut to the interior, which would then be taped in the studio. Unfortunately, during one take, Baker accidentally, well, not accidentally, but he actually pushed on the doors forcefully enough to set off the burglar alarm. Cast and crew scarpered, leaving Jonathan Nathan Turner, the floor production assistant, to explain what had happened to the police.
Amazing.
Absolutely great. Also, they had a lot, other than that sort of stuff, they kind of had an easier time with the public filming than in filming in the UK. Like, whenever they would film something in the public in the UK, crowds would form to be like, oh my god, it's Doctor Who. The French didn't have Doctor Who, so they had no fucking clue and did not give two shits. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. Like, you see all the people walking around, like, they weren't hired actors, they were real people, just not caring. So, Lalla Ward also, her original costume was more of a silver catsuit type thing, but then she wanted to go for the schoolgirl outfit, completely unaware that there was a fetish for it. She said, I thought it would be fun to wear something that little girls probably hated wearing because it might cheer them up. I didn't bank on the fact that I'd also get loads of letters from their fathers saying, course, cool uniform. It's completely innocent. It was no, like, it was a complete accident.
I didn't even, it didn't even click, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's because she's not, filmed in a way that's meant to sexualize it. Neville, due to Lost Shoes, Drizzle, and Baker's irritation with the press, and according to some accounts, his irritation with the fact that the locals paid less attention to him than to Lalla Ward in the schoolgirl outfit, this was a ramshackle shoot, to say the least. The police were called on at least 2 occasions, one of which was the museum one. In those days, the 1st of May wasn't a bank holiday in Britain, but it was in France, so the idea that Paris might be shut when they filmed hadn't occurred to anyone. They just hadn't fucking thought of it. Also, David Graham, the guy who plays the Russian scientist, we kind of jokingly were like, what fucking accent is he? That's an authentic accent. His maternal grandparents are Russian.
No. Oh no. Because, I went with Russian because I was like, that's kind of how I sound when I make a bad Russian accent. And that's why oh no.
His maternal grandparents are Russian, so whoops. We're not good.
Sorry to that actor specifically.
Real quick, this was written by David Agnew, which, if you don't know, is a lot like, is kind of the pseudonym that the production assistants, the production team use to cover up the fact that it's the director or the the producer or the script editor writing the script. Because again, remember the laws around the BBC with, script editor can't hire themselves and that sort of thing, and all the problems that they went through with that. So they wrote under a pseudonym together. The previous one that they did this with was The Invasion of Time, which was producer Graham Williams and someone else. This one was Douglas Adams, Graham Williams, and David Fisher. David Fisher, who had written a lot for last season, but in this season he had written this, but was going through the middle of a divorce that was kind of ruining him. so he couldn't do it. So he basically was like, you guys can do whatever you want to whatever, and I don't care. Which, yeah, that's... It's a lot different to what it was initially going to be, although there are a lot of elements that are kind of the same. But I'll get into it more as we go along. What happened in part 2, dear?
The gunmen are bringing the doctor and Romana to the place with the weird doors, and also to the Countess lady. Beard has brought the doctor in, and she's like openly wearing the bracelet and puts it away in the puzzle box, and the doctor fucking trips or is pushed into the room, and everyone is here now. Including police dude. Beard has everyone at gunpoint and asks why they stole the bracelet. He says he's a thief, and I thought the detective was following me, and he's like, who the fuck sent you, bitch? Romana starts to play with the puzzle box, and she's like, stop doing that. And she basically just opens it. It's like, look, it's a bracelet. Suit shows up and takes it from her, and she's like, fucking bitch, what the fuck? And they continue to try and do the I'm a thief thing, because they thought the bracelet was pretty. But let's put you in the cellar, and the detective tries to throw a chair, which makes the doctor upset. And then they are still trying their best to get the Mona Lisa. The doctor's like, oh my god, this is a lab. Let me look around. This is a laboratory, whatever. The doctor tells the detective to light the lamp, but because there's no point in running away right now, the doctor's going to use a screwdriver. Doesn't do anything, but he hits it against the door and it does something. Also something about the stairs versus in the width of the stairs in this room versus the stairs of whatever. It's a discrepancy in architecture. I'm very tired. The doctor just wants to look around the lab. He's done with everyone's shit. Romana's doing her own shit. The detective wants to beat someone's head in and tries to leave, but the door opens and it's a Russian dude, and he's looking around the lab, picks up an egg that he's going to experiment on, turns on the machine, it becomes a chicken, and the doctor's like, you got this wrong. Cut to the group of thieves, putting the bracelet in a bigger box. The Russian is like, what do you mean? I'm the best at this. And the doctor's like, nah, you're stupid. And he thinks he's saving the world when we see the chicken die and fall over. Something science. The doctor reverses the chicken back into the egg, but after a while, we see the weedy dude's face in the machine for some reason, and the detective knocks the fucking Russian out for no reason. Romana bursts into the room and goes, I was right, come here, look. And the thieves are casually running through their plan with a sonic knife and laser beams. Ben did with the bracelet. The lady is giving her bracelet back, something. We're rich and smart. The detective breaks through the brick wall, kicking through it, and into the room we go. And we find Mona Lisas. 6 of them. That's weird. Why the fuck do we have 6? Also, there's 7 people that want to buy the Mona Lisa, so I guess we're getting a 7th. So everyone will think they have a Mona Lisa and will make millions. But we need to show that we stole it, of course, so we are giving them all the real thing. But Suit is here, now in a nightgown, and also a gun. Detective knocks out Suit, everyone leaves. Now upstairs, everyone is being cautious, but someone is going to shoot at them, and we knock them out, and it's Lady. And then everyone runs the fuck away again, and the doctor is headed somewhere? He's breaking into wherever the TARDIS is, heads inside, and whooshes away. Goes to talk to literally Leonardo, and I guess he's not there. And he doesn't seem to be here right now, which is weird. But then the doctor is held at sword point by a guard because no one is allowed to see him right now. The captain is going to want to question the doctor, and the doctor goes, wait, what captain? And the dude's like, this captain, and it's Suit Dude. And Suit Dude is like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So, the initial plan was actually to recreate Paris in a studio. But then unit manager John Nathan Turner pointed out that it would actually be easier and cheaper to just film it in Paris, because, England and Paris are right next to each other. It wouldn't actually cost that much to just fly there and film it there instead of, just fucking recreating it in a set. So Douglas Adams wrote the script in the space of a weekend, knowing that to do so meant he could go to Paris and get drunk. The story was also originally going to start with a close-up of the Doctor and Romana, which would pull back to reveal them standing atop the high atop the tower. This was abandoned when the special lens they rented for the sequence from a Spanish firm could not be made to fit the BBC camera. Whoops.
Yeah.
Also, the artist who sketches Romana in the cafe initially was going to be much more of a prominent figure, and was meant to be in league with Scarlioni, but then they were like, fuck it, no. Also, Julian Glover, who you may have recognized from all the other things that he's in, for example, Star Wars and For Your Eyes Only and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And also he was the voice of that big spider in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. He was reluctant to wear the Jaggeroth mask that was made, created for scenes where Scarlioni had shed his human disguise, because he felt that the mask would impede his performance. So every time you see the alien him, he's actually a body double in many of the scenes. Which, yeah, it's not too bad, but just fucking put on the mask, dude. Also, the guy who was cast as Duggan was purely done so because he looked like Tintin, and they wanted to evoke imagery like that.
Yeah.
Also, his entire character was meant to be a parody of like a Bulldog Drummond type character, which is a old narrative character from a while back. But yeah, what happened in the next part, dear?
Well, Romana and the detective are in the museum walking around, finding guards knocked out. They find that the Mona Lisa is stolen, and idiotically set off the alarm, so they jump out the window. The Russian has awoken and found Suit on the ground, but he's muttering and saying weird things at the same time as the Renaissance era him. Also, since you're about to die, he says, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. I'm the last of the Jaggeroth. I need to save my entire race. The doctor's like, I think I've heard of that. It was war. You basically killed yourself. You landed here a long time ago. I splintered time. There's a bunch of me now. And he goes, wait, what's this TARDIS? He's like, I don't know, but whoa. Also, we have another Mona Lisa here that you'll use later. Don't worry about it. Suit goes off to get some torture stuff, which is fun. Doctor plays off the idea on the guard that he's crazy about all these spaceships and shit. And he's like, I'm paid by the bourgeois? Bourgeois? Bourgeois. And the doctor decides to take a photo of him, confuse him with the photo, and he's like, listen, let me knock you out. And he does. The doctor then writes on all the canvases that they are fakes, writes a letter to Leo to go ahead and keep using the canvases. Then he's like, see you later, broski. But Suit is back and now has thumb screws. Russian is like, who the fuck are you? And not like that.
Who the fuck are you?
No, that was like Midwestern.
Yeah, it really was.
Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
You want some fucking cheese Okay. Well, he's like, I'm the one that pays you. But also, who are the Jaggeroths? Dude, I'm scared. And the Suit is like, you serve them now. Suit has a migraine that includes people talking in his head. Romana and the detective are just sipping some wine and talking about how this is happening. Suit, by the way, is giving true orders to the Russians, and it's like, oh god, I'm gonna kill everything. But he can't do it because he doesn't have millions and millions of dollars, right? So, wow, weird. Beard comes in and goes, look, wow, we stole the Mona Lisa. We're going to be rich. We're going to have millions and millions of dollars. And they're like, oh, okay.
That's how we're going to pay for it.
Back in the Renaissance, Suit asks how he can travel through time, and he's a Time Lord. But the doctor wants to know how he communicates with his other selves, and he's like, nah, shut up. Suit talks about the shit that lady does and just does not understand at all, and he keeps rambling. Back to Renaissance, Suit is having a fucking moment with the voices. The doctor gets himself out of what he's in, runs for the TARDIS, and we see like a Egyptian version of Suit and a caveman and a Roman and all these ones in time. And all of them are basically chanting that all the centuries are going to be undone and they're going to fix it. They also
gonna be fixed.
They realize the doctor has the thing they need, I guess? Oh. Romana is still drinking at the cafe, and the detective is like, I give up, I'm a shit detective. Romana literally figures out the time travel thing bit and has a plan and writes the doctor a note about how she's going back to the rich place. The doctor runs to the museum and is told the Mona Lisa is stolen. He's like, ah, fuck. The tour guard sees him and, like, keeps freaking out about the doctor being there, and then he just runs off after talking about the human race. The doctor is given Romana's note, and we cut to them both caught and captured. Romana is asked to relax and talk because she knows way more than he thinks. Also, if you'd come downstairs, I'll also fucking nuke Paris if you don't. So there's that. Romana now understands the levity of the situation, and the Russian is like, oh my god, why are you doing any of this? So we get the Russian to walk into the little time area thing, and we speed him up until he dies. That's it.
He's dead. That's it. No more Russian. Well, fake Russian, but I guess real Russian.
Yeah.
So, in the scene where the doctor is back in time in Da Vinci's workshop and such, the doctor wrote the message. I don't know if you noticed it, but he wrote it using backwards letters and then reads the letters in a mirror with them facing the right way.
Yeah.
Which Da Vinci used to use as a method of mirror writing in his journals so that others could not read his works. Which, fair, I guess. Also, this story is kind of got a little bit of a nod to a thing that was going on at the current time. Famous art forger Tom Keating would leave clues in his paintings as to their inauthenticity. One of these would be to write, "This is a fake," in white lead paint on the canvas before overpainting, so that X-rays would find the message. He had famously been put on trial and acquitted in 1977, so the actions that they put in the show may have actually been pretty topical at the time of broadcast, because that would have only been 2 years ago. Also, it's kind of a hype of stories of people stealing the Mona Lisa is basically the inspiration for this story. But the sort of original version of the story was a little bit different. It's originally meant to be set in the year 1928, with the Doctor and Romana aided by Bulldog Drummond-esque detective Pug Farquharson on the trail of the stolen Mona Lisa, pursuing Scarlioni from Paris to Monte Carlo, where his partner, the Baroness Heidi, is using time travel technology to cheat at roulette at the casino to fund Scarlioni's time travel experiments. The Doctor and Romana ultimately discover that Scarlioni is trying to journey back to prehistoric Earth and prevent the time bubble explosion in order to save his fellow Sephiroth, who are dying from an illness he believes is caused by radiation from the accident. Initially, they weren't called Jaggeroth, they were called Sephiroth, which... Yep. However, the Doctor discovers that the culprit is actually the common cold virus, to which the Sephiroth have no immunity. Scarlioni agrees to let the time bubble accident happen in order to spark the genesis of life on Earth. So it was a little bit different. Plus, also, there was a subplot about the Countess using a bracelet to rig roulette wheels. However, Graham Williams felt that the element was putting too much of an emphasis on gambling and was inappropriate for a children's show and ordered that it would be removed. Although David Fisher was unable to do the rewrites himself because of the divorce, so Williams and Douglas Adams subsequently rewrote it. Hence the David Agnew. Also, because of Douglas Adams' influence, the script has a distinctive brand of humor and dialogue. Adams reused concepts of the story's plot to create Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency, most notably that of a crashed spaceship providing the original impulse leading to the formation of life on Earth, and the fact that the ship's pilot survives to see the rise of humanity and then works to procure a time machine for himself to undo the whole series of events eradicating life on Earth. In the book, however, the pilot was not spliced through time like Scarif, but rather survives in the form of a disembodied ghost stuck on Earth for the ensuing billions of years. And rather than attempt to build a time machine himself, the Dirk Gently counterpart of Scarif attempts to steal a pre-existing one, namely Professor Chronotis's time machine, which was also borrowed from another Doctor Who script. But yeah, that's why Dirk Gently is essentially Doctor Who. Which... I like Dirk Gently. I really like Dirk Gently. But this story definitely has Douglas Adams' handwriting all over it. There's several moments, like, very quotable things, like the Doctor shouting, "Is nobody interested in history anymore? What a lovely butler, he's so violent. Have you ever heard of what's Scarlioni's angle?" And then Romana just going, "I was always bad at geometry." all sorts of little quirks here and there. Plus also, the cameo that's in episode 4 was purely it was kind of a returning the favor to Tom Baker, because Tom Baker had appeared in a Hyper Christmas sort of not sketches, but like bloopers, I guess, with the person. So it was like, hey, do you want to do a cameo? And thankfully he lived right around from the television studio, so it was just, sure, I'll come do it. But yeah. Also, Douglas Adams and the director Michael Hayes make cameos in the story. Adams is a man having a drink in a bar, while Hayes is a shifty-looking man wearing a cloth cap and carrying a metal case who exits the train after the Doctor and Romana. Which, you know, that's pretty neat. It's always neat to have cameos. But anyway, what happens in the final part, dude?
So Romana's like, how do I stabilize it? Because seriously, I will kill all of Paris. Romana goes, why would I care if I destroy Paris? And then, like, she gets caught the bluff. So let's go lock up the detective for now and let me explain how all this happened in episode 1. He walks all the way back to his spaceship to stop himself from... he wants to go back to his spaceship to stop himself from hitting the button and taking off. And he wants her to build an interface stabilizer, and she goes, yeah, okay. The Doctor is back at the rich house. Lady is like, here, let me show you the secret door. It's the first draft of Hamlet. And he's like, I know, like, I wrote this. And Shakespeare sprained his wrist, and she laughs and thinks he's crazy. Suit really wants to get to the Doctor back down to the cellar. And Lady's like, listen, I helped him steal the Mona Lisa. He's like, you're just stupid. And then she thinks about it. And then she thinks about it more. She's like, oh, God. And she finds some original art from the Egyptian era that also weirdly has this one-eyed seaweed man in it. And she's like, oh, God. And the Doctor threatens what's-his-face because he's going to stop him from going back in time. And he's actually says, no, you're going to help us because otherwise I'm going to blackmail you. And he's like, but do you know what will happen if you go back? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to do it. Suit, meanwhile, goes to talk to Lady. And she's in a huffy mood, also has a gun. She's not here to fuck around, and asks who and what the fuck he is. And he's like, well, I'm this. And then he takes his face off, and she's like, oh, God. By the way, your bracelet's a taser, and you're dead now. The Doctor and Romana talk science about cracks in time and shit, and he wants to shift everything back 400 million years. He blames Romana for a bit for the shit that she did, but she's like, I made it so he could only go back for 2 minutes. And he's like, you still fucked up, bitch. So they ask the detective to bust through the wall because he's good at it. Too bad seaweed is already standing in the time thingy and goes back. And they're like, you can't follow me, lol, because I'm going to make it explode. And then it does, and it explodes. The Doctor and everybody run off to the TARDIS so they can, because they can maybe kind of trace him. They run through Paris. And they run through Paris. And they try to get a taxi.
And then they run through Paris.
And they run through Paris.
They run so far away.
And then they're in a museum, and fucking John Cleese is here. And they're talking about the TARDIS like it's art. Into the TARDIS we go, swoosh, swoosh, swoosh away, and they're like, oh my God, this is the best art I've ever seen. And then we see the ship. We found the ship over there. We rattle a little bit to see what Suit is up to, and he's here trying to stop the ship. And the Doctor's like, no, you can't just change history. And the detective just fucking punches him in the face and saves the day. So there you go. And then
the Doctor goes, Duggan, that may have been the most important punch in human history.
Mm-hmm. And his body poofs away because his time available here is up. Everyone runs for the TARDIS. Beard is downstairs when Suitweed shows up, and Beard freaks the fuck out about it because he doesn't know what's going on. Throws something at the time thingy, blows it the fuck up. So I guess he's dead. Also, he accidentally destroyed the real Mona Lisa, but if he painted it, is it a fake? We don't know, but if you x-rayed the Mona Lisa, it would say that it's fake under it. I don't know. The detective is like...
even though it's not really a fake?
Who the fuck are you? And gets no good answer about it. Instead, he's like, okay, bye, and buys a postcard of the Mona Lisa and just vibes out in Paris while the Doctor and Romana leave.
Yep, and they're never seen again.
Mm-hmm.
They're never, ever seen again.
Yeah.
So, another few little bits of tidbits here and there. During the broadcast of this episode, a few things happened. One, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the novel, was first published. And also, the UK branch of Marvel Comics launched Doctor Who Weekly, which is now called Doctor Who Magazine and is still going to this day. Oh, at time of recording, who knows? But also another thing is that ITV, the rival channel, big channel, was having a bit of a strike at that moment. So technically, this episode has the highest ratings ever of specifically Tom Baker. I don't know if it's overall with Doctor Who, but Tom Baker's definitely. And this episode in itself is touted by many as probably the best episode to give people the gist of classic Doctor Who and get them interested in it. Which I agree, it's a fun episode, and it's quick, it's snappy, it's got some nice dialogue in it. Basically, if you really like this episode, you're probably going to like the rest of it too. You know, even though some of it's a bit... What do you think, dear?
A 4.
A 4?
There are parts...
A 4?
Well, hold on. What's 4 in French? 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4. Okay.
10.
It's that. Anyway.
All I remember is 79 is 79.
Yes. So for the most part, there are parts that bother the fuck out of me, like the running through Paris. Like, I like watching that stuff. I don't really like watching that stuff in like a Doctor Who episode. Anyway, I don't know. It was okay. I don't hate it, but I'm not super into it. Yeah, 4. I don't. If it was a 3, I would be like, I never want to see this again. But like, I'm just kind of meh.
That's a big difference between 4 and 3.
Yeah, no, because 1 through 3 is I hate it and I never want to see it again at different degrees. And then like, what is it, like 4 through 7 or 6 or like, didn't really bug me. It was inoffensive sort of thing. And then like 7, 8, 9 are like, I want to watch this again. And then like 10 is like perfect. So.
Well, that's fair. I wholeheartedly disagree, but
that's fine.
Your ratings.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's City of Death, not the City of Death, just City of Death.
Stop jump scaring me.
Next time.
Jesus.
Next time, dear. The Creature from the Blank.
Black Lagoon?
No, not Black Lagoon. It's not a fucking... No. It's not a Universal movie. What is it? The Creature from the Blank. Close. You are close. Yeah, one more guess. Black Lagoon counts as a guess.
Deep.
Ooh, close. Pit. It's the Creature from the Pit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's you were close. Depths was pretty close. Deep was pretty close. Black Lagoon was not close at all.
I just want to watch better things.
Do you just want to watch the Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yes!
Is that it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, then we'll see you next time for the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes!
Just kidding. Goodbye.
Fuck!